You're watching Mainland News. Hi, I'm Joya Devine. In today's news, house badly damaged by fire in Richmond, close call for car on Rocks Road, year-on-year house values continue to climb, Tasman local a close second in young farmer contest, and suitor redevelopment signed. A Richmond household has lost its home and possessions following a fierce blaze on Monday morning. The fire broke out at around 9 a.m. at 7 Wild Avenue in Richmond. It's understood a couple and one of their 3 children had self-evacuated from the house before emergency services arrived. Chrissy Small went to the scene where 4 fire crews were in attendance from Nelson, Stoke and Richmond. They attempted to contain the fire after evacuating neighbouring properties to prevent it from spreading. However, it's clear that the home itself was extensively damaged. Stoke fireman Mark Jansen was one of the first on the scene, sprinting to the fire that he'd spotted from upstairs in a nearby building, and quickly set about helping to direct traffic away to make room for appliances. He said that from the first puff of dark smoke he witnessed, he knew that they were seeing a serious building fire. He believed that the fire took no longer than 5 minutes to fully engage the house. He emphasised the importance of people ensuring that their smoke alarms were fully functional. Fortunately, in this instance, no injuries occurred, but the young family are believed to have lost everything they owned in this house fire. It's understood that a cigarette may have been responsible for starting the blaze, although this exact cause was unknown at the time of going to air. Nelson police were called to the scene of an accident on Rocks Road in the early hours of Sunday morning. A resident who lived on the nearby hillside rang police at around 5 a.m. after his wife heard the sound of a vehicle crashing into something, followed by shouting and someone calling for help. Much commotion followed, waking up many households in the area. Police promptly attended, however the driver and occupants of the car had dispersed from the area by the time they arrived. The car appeared to have lost control on Rocks Road, veering into the chain barrier, which acts as a protection from the sea. It's unknown whether anyone was injured in the crash and whether any charges will be laid. Just released, the QV Residential Price Movement Index for May shows that property values in Nelson City have increased by 0.2% in the past 3 months, 1.7% since June last year, and are 4.6% above the previous peak of 2007. Property values in the Tasman district have decreased 1.4% over the past 3 months, but they've increased 2.1% year on year, and they're 2.2% above 2007 levels. QV Nelson registered valuer Richard Kolf says it appears that the LV lending restrictions, interest rate increases and the annual winter seasonal slowdown are working together to keep the market quiet, and this year has seen values flatten off in the city. He says sales activities are down, reflecting the national trend of a lower number of mortgage applications and sales. A Tasman local has taken out second place in the recently held 2014 ANZ Young Farmer Contest. It was a gruelling competition with David Kidd of Northern coming out on top as champion and Tasman's Reuben Carter coming in second. Mr Carter also won the Ravensdown Agri-Skills Challenge. In the 46 years of the contest's history, Mr Kidd is the first Northern Grand Finalist to take the top title. The contest stretches competitors' mental dexterity, physical stamina and showcases the sophistication of modern farming. The 7 grand finalists were put through their paces over 3 days of competition in Christchurch from the 3rd to the 5th of July. Contestants had to demonstrate skills such as match ploughing, windrowing, assembling an irrigation system and building and maintaining a miniature farm. They were also tested on engine mechanics, animal health and welding. In the technical elements of the competition, contestants had to present a business plan, go through a panel interview and work out an HR scenario. After the practical events, they were given less than a few hours to prepare a speech and deliver it at the ANZ Sponsors and Speeches dinner held at Wigram Air Force Museum. Come Saturday night at CBS Arena, it was neck and neck for the evening show as contestants battled it through the final hurdle of quick-fire question rounds. It was a narrow point spread across the quiz show, but Mr Kid eventually edged out the competition and won by just 2 points. The winner will go home with nearly $70,000 in prizes. The final results were David Kidd of Northern on 303 points and Reuben Carter of Tasman only 2 points behind on 301 points. Mayor Rachel Rees, Ian McClellan and John Hambleton from the Bishop Suter Trust have signed the Heads of Agreement document that agrees the responsibilities for the two organisations on the Suter redevelopment project. This agreement establishes a project governance committee comprised of senior council officers and members of the Bishop Suter Trust. Mayor Rachel Rees says the redevelopment will honour the national significance of the Suter as New Zealand's oldest art gallery on the same site. Once complete, the Suter Gallery's rich history will be well and truly matched by its bright future. The Trust has worked professionally and efficiently with them on the project, and Rachel Rees says they look forward to continuing that partnership. Mr McClellan says the Suter is grateful to the people of the wider Nelson region, project benefactors and the Nelson City Council for having the vision and generosity to enable the Suter to continue to be a vibrant art centre, providing for the community and its visitors exhibitions, cinema, theatre, education and a cafe overlooking the Queen's Gardens. A project manager has been appointed and expressions of interest have been called for construction of the redevelopment. The aim is for the contractor appointed by late November, with construction to start soon after. The project is jointly funded between Nelson City Council and the Bishop Suter Trust. And now one of our interns, Raj Agarwal, headed out to the public to ask for their views on what they thought was one of the most critical issues facing Nelson Tasman and what money should be spent on.
What do you think is the most critical issue facing Nelson or Tasman that money should be spent on?
I think it should be spent wisely on the infrastructure, getting it done properly, rather than just a quick fix and then we've got to do it again.
I think we need to inject some money into the city centre here. The rents supposedly are too high. Oh, well, I believe they're too high for the city centre, and I don't think the landlords are coming into the real world in terms of what the fact that people can go internet banking.
Maybe on getting the Trafalgar Centre back up and running, yeah, just for big events, things like that.
There seemed to be like a bit of a mix-up with the parking, and like a lot of people have had hiccups, like with the free parking, and then they seem to get tickets and stuff like that.
We need to bring back the atmosphere into Nelson, i.e. street live music. Yes, I love music. Yeah. And colour, like your tie. The hanging baskets, the simple things.
The sun has set yet again on a popular restaurant and bar in the heart of Mapua. The Tap Ale House and Restaurant in Mapua closed its doors last week, and the business's directors Andrew John Waugh and Daniel Monique Burgess have left the region owing tens of thousands of dollars to a number of creditors. It's understood that the largest sum is owed to the building's landlords, Inkwell Holdings. The venue had only recently launched a new bar underneath the tap approximately a month ago. A letter inside the bar stated that the lease had been cancelled as the company had failed to pay $27,000 in rent, rates and insurance, plus solicitors' costs of $3,700. The building looks as though it's about to open its doors for business. However, the only living thing we could find at the tap is the village cat, who is looking for a new owner to help light the fire in the premises so it can take up its warm sleeping spot over this winter cold snap. After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.